All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As people come in, they can catch up and try to leave as much time because we'd love to engage and hear the the participants' feedback from all of you, from our business owners here in our community. My name is Alex Kojikin. Once again, I'm the assistant city manager with the city of Redwood City. I oversee the city's economic development division, really working with our local business community. Next slide, please. So I first wanted to start off with some good news. So as of today, the county of San Mateo will be moving into the red tier according to the state's blueprint for reopening due to the COVID pandemic. And so what this does for us locally is it'll allow indoor dining at 25%. Retail, you'll have additional capacity for customers to shop within your businesses. Also, fitness facilities can now go indoors at 10% capacity, and then movie theaters as well at a 25% capacity. So there's a number of city staff members here on the call today, but I first and foremost want to introduce our mayor, Diane Howard, and want to thank her for being here today with us. Diane, do you want to go ahead and give a couple remarks to the group before we embark on this event today?
Thank you, Alex. I sure would. I wanted to first of all say thank you all. I am so pleased to be here today for this very important meeting. I wanted to thank you, our businesses and our community stakeholders, for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here to have this very important discussion. I want to better understand how we can help you during this challenging time as we continue both navigating the pandemic as well as the restrictions that are in place and seem to change day by day. We want to take this opportunity to talk about where we've been, where we're going, describe some of the initiatives we are currently working on, and then discuss with you what else we can do. We're grateful to all of you. I know you're very busy people, but this discussion today can be most helpful for all of us. I want to thank you so much for being here. I know you're going to enjoy this presentation, and I look forward to spending some time with you and hearing more about you and your business and the challenges you are facing. I did want to let you know that one of our fellow council members is here today. I believe Council Member Michael Smith is here also, so he'll be able to hear what you have to say. So thank you again for inviting us and welcoming us to this conversation. And I'll now turn it over to Alex and Simon to carry on from here.
Great, thank you, Diane. And so with us today, we have Jennifer Yamaguma, who is our communications manager, and then also fairly new to our city. I think Simon's on week 4 or 5 in his tenure with the city, Simon Vaughn, who is our new economic development manager. And so we're really excited to have Simon on board. He has great experience with 3 other Bay Area cities with economic development. So I'm just really excited to have him on board. So next slide, please. Okay, well, I guess the first item is my name. So introductions, that's me. We introduced Simon. And then with us today, the city cannot do it by itself. And so we work with our local partners. And so I just wanted to introduce Amy Buckmaster, our president and CEO of Chamber of San Mateo County, and also heads the Association that helps with that business group. And then also we have Regina Van Brunt, who is the executive director for the Downtown Business Group. So many thanks to both of you for being on this call today, and to your staff and the great work and the collaboration that the city has had, not only with the Chamber, the Downtown Business Group, and the RCIA. So many thanks. Next slide, please. So really quickly, the agenda of just what we wanted to cover is where we've been and the city's response to COVID-19, along with the Chamber, RCIA, and the Downtown Business Group. And then also our regional partners as well, like SAMCETA and the County of San Mateo. We're all working on this together. We had recently had surveys out in the community. One was a shopper habit survey, which went out to our residents, really just to better understand how they want to do business here locally with our businesses. And then a business support survey where we reached out to our business community to understand kind of what are the needs that businesses are looking for as we continue to navigate through this pandemic. And then third is where we're going and kind of highlight some initial future city-driven initiatives. And I think the goal of this conversation is going to be our roundtable discussion, which will really assist us as we look to build an economic resiliency plan, or actually just put initiatives in motion, really action-oriented. So we'll cover that. Next slide, please. So I'm going to quickly cover just where we've been in our response to COVID. So it's been nearly a year. March 13th, the City Council declared a state of emergency due to this pandemic. And a lot of us all, our whole worlds shifted and changed within that month of March. And one of the initial steps that the city took, understanding that with the pandemic created business impacts. And so we were really working to find the way to support our small business community. And so the county was looking at finding a way to provide funding to small businesses in San Mateo County. And the city of Redwood City, many thanks to our city council and their leadership, they were the first city to pledge funds, basically $300,000 for small business grants. We were really fortunate that the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, who calls Redwood City their home, they went forward and matched the city's $300,000 donation. And then there was another $120,000 that the county provided in support. Many thanks to SAMCETA, the San Mateo Credit Union, Silicon Valley Community Foundation. We were all partners working collaboratively. Also the Chamber Downtown Business Group, really trying to get the information out to our business community to apply for these grants. And 67 businesses were awarded $10,000 grants. The county also worked with all the cities and different government organizations to really work on a county long-range plan. And specific within the long-range COVID recovery plan was an economic recovery plan that had a number of initiatives, such as small business support, workforce development, understanding that our residents who were in the services and hospitality industries and retail and restaurants really got impacted with all this. And so how can we assist them to get them back on their feet, to get them trained up to do different employment opportunities in the future. The city also provided information and resources and support, and you probably are sick and tired of seeing our emails, but pretty much every couple of weeks, we're trying to get information out. And many thanks to the Chamber and Downtown Business Group, because they'll reshare a lot of the information that is going on in the community. But as things were changing, as we were going through our response to the pandemic in the spring, into the summer, and even just as of recently, as of today, actually, we sent out information letting everyone know that we've moved to the red tier. We're constantly trying to get information out there effectively and efficiently. Next slide, please. And like I said earlier, we could not do it without the support of our partner organizations, our Downtown Business Group, our Chamber of San Mateo County, our RCIA, really worked to disseminate all this information, really try to get information out on the federal PPP loans, the EIDL program, and really trying to get any type of funding support information out to the community. Next slide, please. You might have also received a nice little envelope in the mail. So we went ahead and sent out public health information, including all those wonderful posters that all the businesses have up in the by the county health officer, just regarding COVID-19 and safe practices. And so we mailed out 6,400 these letters that included all the materials a business would need in order to notify the public and their employees on the premises in order to meet all the health and safety guidelines. Additionally, the city council took the step in June of 2020 to establish an outdoor business activity program, and that included select street closures in the downtown and also parking closures to allow for parklets for our downtown businesses. Specifically, who have really benefited with these street closures is our restaurants, since they can't do indoor dining. And so we've had 41 restaurants who are currently participating in this program. This program is not only limited to the downtown, but it also goes out to the rest of the community. And we have about 11 businesses who are using their private parking lots for outdoor business activities and have received the permits needed through our program. We also have, some fitness studios and also dance studios utilizing our park space to hold classes, especially when there was no indoor services allowed at the time. Also, many thanks to the Redwood City Improvement Association as they funded our initial outdoor business activity program, specifically in the downtown for $75,000. That pays for our social distancing monitors to make sure that our restaurants and our community members are following health guidelines. The RCIA also provided additional funding for day porter service, cleaning, and also marketing of our outdoor business activity program. And in our downtown business group, many thanks to Regina for going door to door and providing outreach and engagement with our local businesses in the downtown. We also worked with the county and established our own internal COVID-19 business compliance unit. We were not proactively enforcing, and we currently are not proactively enforcing the health guidelines. What happens is we are complaint driven. And so we'll work through our code enforcement division, who will then work with either our police department or the county's compliance unit, who actually works countywide, but we established our compliance unit internally. Next slide, please. We also took steps initially for those businesses, and I think what would probably come to mind really quickly are the businesses who rent space from the city, retail space specifically, at Courthouse Square, have provided deferred rent for those businesses for the time being. Also, businesses can actually be part of our water and sewer service program if they've defaulted and haven't been able to make their payments. There are no penalties applied at this moment. And the council went ahead and extended this all the way through the end of this year, through December 2021, to help support our business community. And then they also put in $750,000 for utility assistance last night as well, and another $450,000. We'll talk about that further, just in small business support. So the council has taken, great leadership in trying to support our business community over this past year. We also checked in with our top 30 sales tax producing businesses to see how things were going. And then we also pivoted and had our librarians. We established a business call center where they actually assisted businesses with trying to fill out PPP loans, or even the San Mateo County Strong program, just anything that businesses needed, or even on the compliance side with guidelines and posters and communicating notices to the community. They also called 6,400 businesses, and that'll be in a later slide here, one by one, just to check in on every single business owner or business in our community. And then as I mentioned earlier, we've emailed messages out, and we have our economic development newsletter. And if you haven't signed up, you can go on the city's website under our e-news, and you can sign up for that business newsletter. And then we also send these emails to anyone who has a current business license on file and has provided an email address. As I mentioned before, we've called every single business, 6,400. This was probably 2 months into the start of this pandemic. And then the council also adopted a retail cannabis ordinance, really trying to look at increasing revenue and retail opportunities throughout our community. We also hosted an auto dealership meeting led by our mayor, Diane Howard, this past summer, really trying to work with our auto dealership community as they are a major sales tax generator for our city. And then we've created a COVID-19 business resource webpage. And this is located, actually, if you go right to the city's website, redwoodcity.org, and you go right under hot topics, it's the 4th item down, and it says COVID business resources that you can access. So I encourage you all to visit that website. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my colleague, Simon Vong, our economic development manager, to go over shopper habit surveys and where we're going. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. So moving on, we're going to go over briefly the shopper habit survey that was conducted December of 2020, so not too long ago. We wanted to kind of understand how we can support our local businesses and enhance your shopping experience, as well as gain insight into what people are looking for when choosing a business, a restaurant, or a service. So we received more than 300 responses, and the vast majority were Redwood City residents with households of 4 or less. Most are now working from home remotely at 72%, and many are still working regular hours at 66%, while about a third are either unemployed or have experienced reduced hours. Next slide. So shoppers have indicated that they are most likely at 80% to pick up food personally at one of our restaurants, with many doing so at least once a week at 76%. Half are only dining outdoors, and surprisingly, only 36% are expected to dine indoors, even when a vaccine becomes available. So that's some interesting statistics that we've noticed. It probably confirms what we've heard anecdotally as well. Next slide. So there's a couple graphs here, but most shoppers have signaled that they respond really well to email and online information, most favorably at 59%, with social media and promotion of sales not too far behind at 40-ish%. The vast majority of our shoppers would support a Shop Local initiative at 92%, with the majority at 73% preferring Redwood City restaurants and merchants. So there's a strong preference to do all of their business inside our borders, and we definitely appreciate that. More than half would also support a local marketing campaign. When deciding which restaurant or business to patronize, a large portion really are determined that businesses implementing maximum health practices for safe operation was really important to them at 31%. One of the biggest factors in deciding where to visit. In summary, a lot of our shoppers would more likely support a Shop Local campaign and are willing to visit a restaurant or business adhering to all the public health safety guidelines. And they all respond pretty favorably to engagement via email or online. Next slide. Similarly, we also did a business support survey at the same time as the shopper habit survey. We got fewer responses, around 62, but we really wanted to get an understanding of the current impacts COVID-19 was having on our businesses and to kind of really determine what their future needs were. About 27% were from eating establishments, 18% from retail or personal services, 13% from professional services, and the remainder, a variety of different types of businesses: educational, healthcare, arts, administrative, and etc. 2/3 of respondents were, had fewer than 10 employees, so pretty small. Next slide. So many businesses said they cited that having not enough money or time to market or promote their business as a big factor at 40%, with a smaller portion worried about the cost of PPE and other cost of materials and supplies for sale by businesses. They also appear to have broadened the channels to which they conduct transactions. So most of it is like an even spread, conducting business either in store, online, or picking up. So it's about a third or a little bit more than a third across the board. Next slide. Most businesses at 84% are using social media, and many of them are also using their websites and email to kind of communicate with their customers. This kind of aligns where we see shoppers are going in terms of where they're getting their information. In terms of business resources, it's clear that a majority of them at 76% need some sort of access to capital, either grants or loans or whatnot, and almost half wanting some assistance with marketing or promotion. Next slide. Almost 80% of businesses would clearly like Redwood City to continue to identify grants and loan resources as their primary thing that we can do, as well as half supporting a Shop Local campaign as a helpful strategy to aid them during this time. And 90% indicated that a marketing campaign was critical to promoting their businesses and assisting visibility and awareness. Next slide. So now we're kind of going to describe where we're going, some of the future city-driven initiatives that Alex had touched upon. We're really dedicated to creating an economic resiliency plan, which would take about 18 to 24 months. And it would really develop and leverage what much of has been done at the county level. We want this plan to be actionable and reflect the community's values and priorities. So this will be a guiding document that will outline the major steps we need to take for our economy to recover to pre-pandemic levels. We also want to establish, as I previously said, a Shop Local campaign using social media, local advertising, press releases, newsletters, and perhaps exploring an app that might highlight Redwood City businesses. Our outdoor business activity program has been quite successful, and we are trying to explore ways to make this semi-permanent. We'll also continue to provide business grant and loan information, and we will also go ahead and provide $275,000 in CDBG funding to family childcare. Next slide. So we will continue working with the county, especially on their most recently launched restaurant, brewery, and winery relief program, which just opened on Monday, where there's $2.3 million available countywide and $400,000 available to Redwood City businesses. We have just recently committed an additional $450,000 to support additional businesses specific to Redwood City at this time. We will also continue to explore workforce development opportunities for residents and those who've been impacted by reduced work hours and layoffs, and continue to share information related to federal, state, and local funding. So it's great news that we have additional resources available to all of our restaurants and businesses who are interested in receiving additional capital and access to grants. Next slide. Lastly, the city will establish a small business empowerment program to support the local business community and work with local and economic development partners to continue our support of Redwood City businesses. We also want to start a positive business review initiative, as we have heard that providing reviews via Yelp or Google help, and that visiting our store is great, but that getting the word out is even better. So I think just word of mouth and positive advertising would definitely go a long way. And I just kind of want to loop back and make sure that if we go back to the previous slide, we have some funding that related to PPP. There is still a second round of funding for PPP that expires. The window expires at the end of March, so there is still ability to go ahead and apply for that. So just wanted to go ahead and shout that out. And that should be it. I will go off and pass it along often to Alex.
And just really quickly too, one follow-up, the restaurants, breweries, and wineries support program that actually went live yesterday at noon, and I believe it's going to be live until March 8th. And I see Amy nodding her head yes. And so that's a great program. So, and it's not first come, first serve basis actually. So you have the time to submit an application, so you don't have to sprint basically to get this thing done. So you have till March 8th. If you're interested, the city will also be looking at providing maybe a little bit of support, but with the $450,000 that the council approved last night, actually. But we'd have to go back to council at a future meeting really to talk about the full package as we look at the $450,000 for small business support. Next slide, please. And just really quickly, the plug before we go into our engagement is, our transportation engineers were like, hey, we want to engage in the future. And this isn't the meeting for this, but the city's also looking at grade separations. And grade separations are basically the Caltrain line, the railroad tracks. We have 6 at-grade crossings throughout Redwood City. And so really looking at how you might see Jefferson going underneath the tracks, looking at future projects and how that might impact our business community throughout the city. And so if you want, you can take down the website right here, rwctransitplan.com, or you can visit the city's website, or there's the email as well. But we'll be having a future meeting on this, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And so we'll be getting information out to all of you. So next slide, please. So we had 2 prompts basically of where we're seeking information from our attendees here today. What I'm hoping is I'm happy to I'll facilitate the discussion, but we'll also be taking notes. Jennifer here on the call today will be taking down all the information. Also, this has been recorded, and so it will also be up on the city's website if you've missed anything. Or want to share it with other business owners or anyone else in the business community if they want to hear about the work that we're doing and what we have planned, and just to hear from the rest of the group on this call. And so the 2 questions that we have are, You've now heard the presentation kind of where we've been and where we're going and the survey results that we've received. But is there anything that we're missing? Are there any other initiatives or programs that we should be exploring? Really wanting to get it from your vantage points as business owners in the business community to hear from you. And then two is just what can we do as a community to support your business? Because we're in this, together as a community. And so I'd love to hear just more about that. If we can, I'd love to kind of go around the room as we facilitate. And thank you, Simon, for putting the transit district item in the chat box. But if we could just go around the room, and if you could just tell us the business that you represent, that'd be great, so that we can just kind of understand who's in the room here too with us. And then kind of answer the two questions. Love to start that off. And so I'm going to just go ahead, and I see Loriana. It's been a while since I've seen you in person, Loriana, but it's great to see you. But you're first on my screen, so I'd love to have you kind of engage with us. And if you can give us just background on the business and, just kind of responses to the questions, love to hear from you.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate this opportunity. I represent the Castrop Group Architects. So we are a professional service, and I very sensitive to the fact that retail and restaurants have been heavily impacted by COVID. Our company was able to go provide most of our services remotely. Obviously, we are doing architecture, and we can do that on computers, online, work from home for our employees. So we were able to pivot a little more quickly than many other businesses, but we still really do need a lot of help with having the city notify people that there are service businesses still, service providers still in business and local, and that they can shop local for service businesses. So while I know there have been lists of local restaurants and local retailers that go out through city channels, maybe having once in a while a listing or an email, perhaps linked to the chamber or the downtown business group membership lists that most of them have rosters online, and maybe a city email saying, here are links to some local businesses that you can support. I don't think that it's a good idea to reinvent the wheel, obviously, but if there are resources that we could link to and then send out an email blast through all the city channels, that would help some of us whose business, we did take a hit, not maybe to the extent that some other businesses did. So that would help us.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have Farah now.
Hi, Alex. This is Farah with Aria Steakhouse. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
You too. Sorry, I'm at a public place, so I have the mask on.
No worries.
Yeah. It's nice to be here. Actually, I got the email and I was able to finally catch one of the programs to be a part of. So it's good. I mean, as a restaurant in the community, I think I just had a talk with Regina last week, and I said, Regina, there isn't anything I have not gone through in Redwood City yet. I've literally 9 years now. I feel like we've gone through it all and we've seen it all, and we're still like fighting. And yes, as a restaurant owner, it's been a very, very difficult year. And you don't know day after day how hard it is for people to say, well, when are you going to throw in the towel? Every interview or every newspaper says, are you going to be a part of that 30%? And we're just like, no, we're not going to be a part of that 30%. We've spent 9 years. So we've spent, hard work, tears, money, everything, basically family hours to be able to survive. So we were very happy to see that we turned red. Let's see how long. Hopefully this time it doesn't change. I mean, for a restaurant like ours, it definitely helps a lot because we really need the dine-in. Our restaurant was for events, right? We did Oracle, we did all of the events, and we were a restaurant for events. So I appreciate everything Simon covered is everything that needs to get done little by little. All of the feedback is exactly what we're seeing in the field. I mean, the takeout, the third party, having to rely on DoorDash and Uber to survive. It's been really, really hard for a restaurant like mine where everything was dining and I had to revert. I had to change my menu. I had to make it, keep shifting. We kept shifting every single week, find a different way to survive, find a different way to be here, trying to make my customers still happy without delivering the whole experience. And that's what we were always about, So I really appreciate this and you giving us the time and working on this. I look forward to, helping anything. I've always told Regina as a restaurant owner, being there that long, definitely anything I can do, anything I can step up to, that we can do, definitely. And just trying to get the word out to shop local. I know I've always had to compete against Stanford or Palo Alto or some of these other cities, but if Redwood City can actually support local, and I posted on every single one of my Instagram and on Facebook, when I post, I shop post local, support local on every one of my channels, wherever you can, to just a little bit goes a long way. So sorry I took so much of your time, Alex.
No, it's great.
I hope with some of the feedback, and I know me and Regina have been talking in regards to some ideas. Hopefully once Dine-In does come back, maybe we can do a taste of Redwood City again. And my idea to Regina was to be able to open this to every single business in Redwood City and not just make it about the restaurants. I mean, I would love to, I was asking her, I was like, where's the local florist or where's the local dry cleaner? The only people hurting, yes, we restaurants have been hurt, but I've also noticed my dry cleaners hurt. No one's going and dropping off dry cleaning. No one's doing all these other little stuff before. I was talking to a florist last week and he was just like, I'm dying. It's Valentine's Day and he was dying because he was like, no, we're not doing the business that we should be doing. So as a whole, maybe if we can just come up with an initiative to support all businesses, including the little tiny ones as well, and not just the restaurant program, I think it will actually excite more people and the power of social media. If you can imagine just if one dry cleaner or if one little business shared one link for all of Redwood City, how much it can explode in a very short amount of time. If we have one hashtag that we all believe in and can follow through for the next few months, I just feel like this way everyone's a part of it. I feel like as a business owner, every initiative is always towards restaurants, and I understand I want to survive, but if we include the other guys too, the program will get bigger and better.
That's all wonderful feedback. I really appreciate that. That's very helpful. So next on the screen, I have Ali. I think Ali's talking right now to somebody else in his restaurant. I see 2075 Broadway in his background. Ali, are you there? You must not hear me. Okay. Max, nice to see you, sir.
Hello. Hi, I'm Max Koknar, Bora Max Koknar with Dragon Productions. We're kind of a unique case downtown, theater company, and I'm mostly here to hear about what's happening in the local community. We've been spending the last year really kind of hunkering down and trying to create virtual opportunities for the 6+ million artists who are still left out of work, and kind of working with partners and collaborators to bring their events virtually in a safe way. We've, all had the great pleasure of partnering with the Parks and Arts Foundation in the fall, and Art on the Square, and some other sort of national, larger scale international collaborations. And today I'm here to see how we can support the Redwood City community through the arts, how we can kind of reach out to our network of artists who are still mostly not working to create magnets to bring folks to downtown, because especially as I feel like the spring and summer months come, the big differentiator is going to be like, who is walking the streets and why are they coming downtown to come to our retail businesses? And I hope that, you know, the arts can serve and be useful beyond the art's sake in our current environment. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I have Anamika.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, my name is Anamika. I'm from Casa Indian Eatery on Broadway in Redwood City. So I think like most other restaurants, it's been tough. For us, I think the biggest challenge has been the lack of people at work around us, the surrounding offices, etc. It just, that was our busiest period, as well as catering. So that was a huge revenue line for us. And so not having offices open directly impacts us. We're sort of cautiously optimistic with the change in tier because we still haven't had our crew vaccinated. So we want to try and ensure that we're not, you know, increasing exposure to them too quickly. I think what could be helpful is, yes, the shop local campaign, but maybe something a little more tactile, like putting actual nice cards in the mail featuring a restaurant with their website and a link, maybe some offers to entice new customers come in, because it's very noisy online and just there's a billion emails and it's just, you know, shop local, dine here, dine there, but it's not really resonating. So I think more visual, something a little more tactile to get out to customers to try new places. And then I will say that there's a bit of a balance between like closing streets and, you know, to try and encourage dine-in, because it also then shuts off the delivery side of things because you can't access the restaurant. And so especially for something like us, our business, it actually hurts us because people can't get to the store to do the quick pickup of food, and it just doesn't incentivize them to come and grab a quick meal to go.
Great. Thank you for that feedback. And then just one point, just on the offices, because that's something that the city is tracking as well. And so right now, at least for the Chan Zuckerberg initiative, and Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're right now looking at a September timeframe basically to get back in the office. Amy, can you correct me if I'm wrong?
Sorry, Alex, my video went on. Yeah, they're looking at a fall, September.
I will say, because we have 2 restaurants in San Francisco as well, Redwood City seems to be showing more activity in terms of people going back to work than San Francisco, where I think there's no activity downtown San Francisco at all.
You're actually quite correct on that. And I appreciate you bringing that up because we just had an economist from Bay Area Council on Friday talking about that. And you're going to start to see more of a suburbs opening up, you know, the businesses in the suburbs. And so really the downtown, and you're going to start to see different take on what working schedules. You may have a staff but we are also tracking traffic. We're starting to see the metering lights coming on at Woodside Road. Once the county employees started coming back sporadically, we started to see a pickup in that. So it's just, I'll be honest with you, it's every tier we go up, every vaccine we get, our economy will slowly come back.
Look at great to have like vouchers for people at work.
I love your ideas. Those are great.
You know, like get them out of the office, because that was a problem anyways, right? Was all the in-store cafeterias of offices. So now that they don't have huge chunks of people working together or eating together, it's best to disperse them out to the local economy. And like finding ways that are digital to do that with companies would be, I think, a nice, easy way to help everybody.
That's great feedback. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Welcome.
Hey, great to see you.
Did you say Kate?
Yeah.
Okay, all I thought I heard was like, hey. I was like, wait, is that Kate? Hey, good to see you too. I will be quick. I don't have a lot, but my name's Kate Mosley. I am the owner of the two Orange Theory fitness locations that are in Redwood City, one in Redwood Shores, one over by Woodside Plaza. So as you can imagine, I've been greatly affected by this situation. I was able to, I did move outdoor to an outdoor workout situation, and luckily I was able to get a covered garage option at the Pullman Hotel, who is another local business that has been amazing to help me with this. And so I've been able to run an outdoor fitness for the past 6 months in a covered parking garage for one of my locations. The other one, after we moved out of the tier back in November, I did close that one down just because I didn't have a really good outdoor situation. So needless to say, it's been very, very challenging. I have, I didn't need a loan, but now I do because I've been closed for a year. So we've gone through the PPP process, and very excited to hear about this $450,000 to the other businesses, since I am not a restaurant. That's great, and I appreciate the city doing that too. I don't really have any, anything to add. The one thing I just did want to add that was brought up today on one of our chamber calls that Amy somewhat mentioned is the business sector in Redwood City is moving a lot towards life sciences. A lot of buildings that are being built, a lot of life science opportunities that are coming into Redwood City, which is really good news for these restaurants and these businesses, because there will be people in the offices. Unlike a tech situation, you will have a lot more people there. So I just want to give some hope in that aspect that, in the next year or two, we should see hopefully a little more people, because they have to be there to do their life science work. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say at this point. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much for that feedback. We'll try Ali. Are you there, Ali? No? Oh, there you are. Hey, Ali.
How are you guys? I have a restaurant downtown Redwood City, Rock and Wrap, behind the City Hall. I've been here since 2013. I like Redwood City, but right now we are in bad situation with the restaurant business, and we're losing a lot of business, a lot of employees. We don't have a lot of revenue to keep in business. We've been struggling for over a year already. We are very bad, but I hope the city give us the outside dining for permanente, like for outside cafe. That will help me a lot, because I have a small business and I need your help. We need more revenue from the state, and they told us like 2 months ago, we fill up the application for the grant. We never get the grant. We fill up a lot of application for San Mateo County. We never get the money. I don't know, because we are a small business or what. But the whole thing, what's my concern, I need the outside dining to be permanent for like many years. That will help us, and people feel very, very safe outside. They're not gonna come inside eat. Maybe 10% or 5% they ask, but most majority they want to be outside, because we have a lot of space. We have more than 6 feet, we have 10 feet. The air will be flowing the way they like it. And I hope the mayor and the Redwood City help us build this with all this help. Thank you very much, guys.
Appreciate that, Ali. And we are looking at, just because the council has approved having the outdoor dining, the outdoor business activity program through the end of this year. So we're looking at allowing some greater investment from our businesses, basically, on better parklets. So I think that's a great initial sign. And then also we'll be doing our due diligence as staff, and we've already started that, about, post-pandemic, how this outdoor dining and parklet program, what it may look like in the future. So we are working on that. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Zareen, great to see you. It's sunny outside.
Yeah, it is nice, huh? So I'm Zareen from Zareen's Restaurant, and I was fortunate enough to have my third location open during the pandemic. So it's been challenging, but I'm glad that the city is working with me. So we are doing better. I do have a few suggestions for the city. And number one is I'm finding it very hard to get employees in Redwood City, especially because they have to pay so much for parking. And it's really hard for me to help them with parking. So are there any plans for you guys to give reduced parking to staff or something of that effect?
You want me to, I can go ahead and reply in response to that. So what we do have is we have information and flyers just where the cheapest parking is really, because if you really look at, there are high priced areas and then there's cheaper areas within our garage where it's very cheap to park. And I know that our parking manager was also looking just at an employee parking program, specifically in the downtown as well. So one of the cheapest places, Zareen, and it's pretty close to your restaurant on the 2000 block of Broadway, would be our Marshall Street garage, which is, I believe it's like 25 cents an hour.
All right, we'll look into it. But right now I'm helping them with parking, so it's kind of really affecting me, but I'll see. Any way you can help with this subsidized employee parking program will help a lot. And are there any plans to increase parking in the downtown area in the long term?
So it kind of goes, when we look at the parking as new buildings are built, that what we've done is we've entered into agreements for public parking. So on Main Street, you can see 851 Main, that's that new development that's going up right there on the mid block between Broadway and Middlefield. And so that's just that'd be a new garage. 2075 Broadway, which is at the corner of Broadway and Jefferson. That underground parking garage is also public parking, the box building. So with the new developments, we're also getting public parking agreements to allow for more parking in the downtown. Now,
that would help us a lot.
And then just with the outdoor, looking at the outdoor dining program, that does take up parking stalls as well, for the parklet. So that is something, that offsets, with new parking garages coming online, it couldn't get impacted, at least for the short term right now, with the parking stalls.
Yeah, parking would help a lot because a lot of our businesses take out and it's important to have parking nearby. And my other suggestion is, like we do in Palo Alto, is we have a regular meeting with the city staff and the business community. So can we make this meeting more regular in the long term rather than just a one-off thing? Because it's so exciting to have this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's with the small business empowerment program that we're looking at, that we mentioned as the list of where we're going. I think that's exactly the appropriate setting where we'll be, facilitating discussions with our small business community. So definitely, Zareen.
And one last thing is in our best day at our Palo Alto location is when we have the farmers market on Sunday. So if we can have something similar, like a farmer's market or some kind of a regular event where families can come, and when they come, they would also buy from us, would help us a lot.
So you'll see here in Redwood City, and those are all great points, Zareen, by the way, before I respond to you. So one is the Kiwanis Farmers Market. They are open on Saturdays. So we have that, and that'll be April through November this year. It's a little later than previous years. But then additionally, I know that the Downtown Business Group and the Chamber, they're looking at a potentially midweek farmers market to drive more people into the downtown. Additionally, just something that we're also exploring right now within the guidelines of the health orders is establishing our putt-putt mini golf in Courthouse Square here shortly to just drive more foot traffic into the downtown. Understanding that has to be in safe environment, it'd be under a tent, but all the walls would be open. And so we're working through the logistics of pulling that off while in this pandemic. But that is another area that we're looking at to drive more foot traffic.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex and Simon.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Alex, quick question. Do you know when the parking lot for Box will come back?
I have to check in with Kilroy to see, and our parking manager. Once we get that information, we can go ahead and we can respond to the entire email to the group who is on this call. So let me find out and I'll get back to you on that.
That would be awesome.
Ernie.
That's a lot of spaces.
Okay. Great. Ernie, great to see your picture.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Can you see me? Well, I can't see myself. All right, right on. Hey, thanks a lot for hosting this. I appreciate it. Interesting. I appreciate Max coming out before me because he kind of stole some of my words. we kind of feel like the lost business out there, because we hear a lot about retail and we hear a lot about restaurants. And I think from a venue standpoint for the type of events, I think we pretty much have given up on that and know that we won't be open until this thing is completely over and done with. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Thankfully, from a Fox Theater standpoint, you know, we had already etched out a blackout time because we were going to be doing some renovations, and we changed out those renovations to be more COVID-19 related renovations, which they are very significant renovations. So really there shouldn't be many people who feel uncomfortable being in a closed-in space. But to Max's point, it would be great if from a leadership standpoint, when council or whomever is getting on those calls, you know, with the assembly or with the state, that we continue to find out what is going on with the entertainment industry, when that's going to possibly be open and at what capacity, if that. On a good news, and from where I'm a little bit optimistic, in the last 3 weeks, we've booked seven private events for 2021, starting in September. 4 of those events are in December for holiday parties. And in 2022, we are already 25% booked through the year. So, and these are all private companies. The only public event that we have possibly going on is our speakers series, which are going to have extremely high profile speakers on. But that's going to be dependent on what's going on, because unfortunately, the speakers need to be in a full house capacity kind of a deal. They won't speak to like 100 people kind of a situation. So that'll be dependent on how we're allowed to be open. So that may be pushed out more later towards 2022, 2023.
Well, that's great to hear, Ernie, that they're looking at in 2022, 25% book. That, you know, that light at the end of the tunnel gives me hope, you know. So that's exciting to hear that it's private companies who are taking those initial plans. So that's great.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Maharaj Pereira. No? Okay, we're going to keep moving along. Brenda? You there? No? Okay. Byron? Byron, you there? You want to unmute?
I'm here. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Byron, nice to see you, sir.
What are you doing? How you doing?
All right, hanging in there.
Yeah, so I thought this event was actually really interesting. Got actually a lot out of this, specifically what Amy was talking about with life science taking over some of the office space from tech. That was interesting to hear. I've been really following closely all that life science. Our business is not really impacted by anything because we're trying to redevelop. So my main thing right now is tech rebounding and coming back and, you know, traveling in the Bay Area. If that's not the case, then is it going to be life science? So it was interesting to hear what Amy had to say about life science customers potentially going to getting a workout. You know, we need consumers to spend money in the local economy. I've been hanging out with Manuel Martinez here and there with some friends. So he's actually looking forward to having some type of lodging facility here. And it was promising to hear Ernie saying that there's events that are at least private coming back. So I've seen some little things like the Lowe's project. Looks like they're trying to build some life science. Where else have I seen some life science? A couple brokers I've been talking to. There's a big project going on in Palo Alto. So it looks like that whole economy of South San Francisco is kind of trickling down to the peninsula. So I think that would be refreshing for all businesses. You know, there's just customers spending money on restaurants or haircuts or yoga or whatever. So I'm going to keep an eye closely on that. So if anyone has any questions about it, I'll definitely be collecting that data for life sciences.
Great. All right. Thank you, Byron.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Moving on. Matt Jacobs. You want to unmute Matt? Hello. Oh. Having a hard time hearing you, Matt.
Okay, how about now?
Excellent.
Yeah, Matt Jacobs, Kaiser Permanente. I'm just more here to listen. Don't really have too many updates to give because everybody kind of knows what we do and how we do it. So if anybody has any questions for me, I'm happy to chat offline, but you know, we're here to support the community. So thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for being here today. And I know it's been difficult getting those vaccines, but thank you for administering that as well. Appreciate that.
Yes, we are administering as fast as we can get them, and we've got a great system set up. So once we get the actually get the vaccines, they're getting in arms immediately. So that's the important thing.
Matt, may I ask? Yeah. I mean to interrupt, but well, I've got everybody on here, and you are one of the larger. Your patients really patronize downtown Redwood City, especially after a doctor or getting their eyeglasses or something. And so can you let everybody know when the new building is coming in? Because that will drive, I'm hoping, some more people to downtown after lunch.
Yes.
For their appointment. It looks
yes. And the building will be open. You know, their hours will be, 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, and they'll have a 12:30 to 1:30 lunch break. So that's a great time for people to get out. But that will be opening at the end of April. So looking at, I think it's April 28th, but don't quote me on the date, but it's the last week of April we'll be opening up there. But I have to caveat with that we're still doing a lot of video appointments, and so not a lot of people are still comfortable yet coming in person.
The more vaccines we get, the more people get comfortable.
Exactly. Well, I'm feeling that already. I'm already hearing more people coming, so that's good.
Great. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Paula, do you want to unmute?
Hi, yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just here to observe. I'm a small business owner as well. I'm really excited about all the opportunities with going into the red zone, especially for the restaurants in our community and retailers. But no other comments, just here to observe.
Great. Thank you for joining us today. Alejandro.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Alejandro.
Welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate being invited to this. There's a lot of really good information. I represent Mariscos El Camino. We're a small Mexican seafood restaurant. We're kind of in a weird situation because we opened at the end of 2019. And so we didn't qualify for a lot of the programs at the very beginning. The emails with the resources have really helped us a lot because we were able to tap into some of those resources, like the Renaissance Center. We hooked up with them, so they've been helping us out right now. So we really appreciate, you guys sending the information out. I know there's a lot of families with businesses in the North Fair Oaks area. I don't know. It's been tricky for us to figure out like what applies only to Redwood City, what applies to like overall San Mateo County. Are you guys reaching out to North Fair Oaks businesses and unincorporated Redwood City as well? Or is it mostly like downtown area mostly?
So specifically for the restaurant winery program, I'll have Amy go ahead and answer that question. You're on mute. There you go.
Thank you, Alejandro. And also I too love Renaissance and Tim and the whole group down there. They're phenomenal. In regards to the North Fair Oaks, we've had a really good partnership with our supervisor Slocum, which is Warren Slocum, and that is his district and his staff. We've also been working with Connie Guerrero. So we have been reaching out with them, and the North Fair Oaks will qualify for the CZI. They follow them with the CZI money. And so we've been reaching out, they've been receiving emails, we've got translators where they are ready. And so we just will keep, making sure. I know Slocum's office is just in contact with them daily. And then also I think in regards to some of your stuff it's very hard sometimes when Redwood City's rules are different than unincorporated in the North Fair Oaks area. So in regards to permits, things like that. But no, they are feeling the love. It's been great. And we really want to thank the county staff, Slocum's office, for really reaching out. And Connie Guerrero, if anybody doesn't know Connie, she is the amazing Connie. So, but if you have any questions or anybody that is not feeling it, please email me directly and I'll put my email in the chat. Or Jennifer, you have my email.
Thank
Cool.
you, Amy.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Great. I have Ralph Garcia. Ralph, you there? You want to unmute yourself? Okay. Ralph isn't unmuting. So then I'm going to go ahead. I see John Graham.
How are we doing today?
Great. Welcome. Yeah. Thank you for being here.
No, it's all right. I actually logged in right at the beginning, and Tom, my business partner, was on the first part of the call. So yeah, he's just had to pop off. So I'm back here, but we've both been listening.
Okay, great. What we were hoping to do is, are there any other initiatives or programs that the city should be exploring, and then what can we do as a community to support your business?
The one thing that I think keeps coming up on our street, which is over on in between Broadway and Broadway and El Camino, like the parklets make a huge difference. They really do. But I know that a couple of the other businesses here are thinking that maybe some kind of permanent structure or making that permanent, where we actually sort of do what they've done over at City Pub and actually have a little bit more of the outdoor alfresco style dining on a permanent basis. Especially for this block, that would, I think, increase a bit more of the foot traffic and people kind of coming to stay. But that's a little further down the line. I think Alan is a big proponent, Alan, who owns the hub. As far as anything else that goes along with COVID and where we're at, I'd say I'm actually incredibly happy with the way that your office has just responded to this. Just the quickness, the ease of actually getting tent permits and sign permits and things like that. So I do want to sit there and acknowledge you guys for the hard work you've done there. There's not an awful lot more. I mean, the information has been free flowing. The grants have been incredibly helpful. I know that we just got our grant in the other day, which was massively helpful, and that was through information that you gave us. I think it's one of those ones where as we go from purple to red, and then from red to orange, and keep going, it's a new business model, because of course now you've got outdoor and indoor dining. That was something that we didn't have, and how do we maintain that to keep our businesses on that same level, and a new projection and a new sort of sense of worth, and just inviting more people to the area, to be honest with you, because I look at this block and it's amazing, the variety that we have. You've got the hub, you've got Japanese, you've got American, you've got us, which is sort of French Californian, and of course the ice cream store shut down. And how do we stop more closures from happening? Is I think by basically allowing more people to be in our spaces.
Definitely. And that's exactly, you're hitting the heart basically, John, of where we're trying to go with our economic resiliency plan of trying to stop businesses from permanent closure. That's kind of where we're really, if you really, wipe everything away, of really getting to the, true interests of what we're trying to do as a city, is as best as we can try to stop small business from permanent closure. That's what we're really looking at trying to do. And John, just for the group, because I didn't hear the restaurant, the restaurant you represent.
So I'm the owner and managing partner of the bottle shop.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for being here today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for holding it.
Right. I have Steve Pierce. Steve, you want to unmute? Okay. There are some who have joined and are attending, but I guess just are choosing not to engage at this point. Is there anyone that I've missed to ask our two questions and get feedback from? please at this time, if you want to raise your hand or unmute, it'd be great if I've missed anybody. Okay. We see, we go to the participant list. I don't see any raised hands. So with that, just for next,
Rosalind.
Rosalind works for the library.
So I'm not a business owner, but I just wanted to say it was a real pleasure calling people who are business owners in Redwood City. They're fantastic library users and people to work with in the community. And I also wanted to say we're continuing to do workforce development style programming for the community. So we're really interested in doing things to support employees. So for example, on Tuesday, we're having a program for mock interviews. So if anyone has anything as a who wants to be on a panel, for example, or who's interested in a program idea that would help employees who are looking for jobs, just get in touch with me at the library. And there's only one Roz Cutler or Rosalind Cutler in Redwood City, as far as I know. So thanks and hang in there, everybody. And I always shop local.
Thank you, Roz. I appreciate that. And thank you to your team for pivoting and setting up that small business resource outreach team. So thank you so much for doing that and for shopping local. And I think that's kind of one of our bigger initiatives that we want to do and kind of think outside the box too with that.
Oh, and I'm also just happened to be on the Caltrain advisory committee, although I represent the city of San Francisco. But if you have any questions about that, you can always ask me.
Great. Thank you so much, Roz. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
Do we want to go ahead and do the poll?
Yeah, we can if you want, just to see the business sectors. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, there. You should be able to see a poll popped up in front of your screen. If you're a small business within Redwood City, if you could go ahead and answer which business industry you're from, that would be great. If you're comfortable doing so. We just kind of want to get a sense of who's in attendance today. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see what the results are. We have, we're at about 30 seconds. We'll probably leave it for about a minute to see if everyone can participate. Okay.
We have 14 out of 21.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much for participating in that poll. And so where do we see the majority? So, wow, even tie between restaurants and nonprofits. Great.
Well, that's us, Alex. That's the chamber staff. Yeah, we're all like, we're business nonprofits.
Yeah, there we go. Supporting our business community. Wonderful. So if you want to, we have another roundtable meeting tomorrow, I believe at 9:30. So if something comes overnight, something hits you and you want to continue to engage with us, feel free to join us again. Happy to have you on there, or you can just send us an email. Simon, you want to go ahead and put your email in the chat box too. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to Simon, or you can even reach out to me. I know Jennifer, if you want to put my email out there, I'm happy to connect with all of you as well. And I just have to say, to watch our small businesses really navigate through this pandemic and the innovation and ingenuity and the pivots and just seeing all of you really working to succeed and through all of this is just amazing. To myself here in the city, as I've been from the start of this being involved, it just is so amazing to see all of you doing the great work that you're doing. And whatever we can do as a city, we're going to try our best. And this information that you guys have provided today is really going to assist us as we build out this resiliency plan and really look at our initiatives. of how we can better support our small business community. So I just want to thank you so much, just on behalf of the city. Want to thank our partners with the Downtown Business Group with Regina and Amy and the Chamber and RCIA, Maggie, Felicia, all of you. Just thank you so much for all that you do to support our businesses. So with that, I guess any other items for the good of the order? Are we ready to break here? Oh, I got Amy with a hand up.
I just want to do a thank you because, and I know Regina's probably going to nod her head with me, you know, basically when this all went down, Alex was just amazing. And, you know, I just really want to thank the City of Redwood City team. Alex, Simon, you're new, but my gosh, you're seeing everything that's been done. And the partnerships that Regina, the Chamber, Downtown Business Group, Alex, all of us, we've built has been amazing. And, you know, we are here for you guys and we're not going to, this will not stop, but I just really want to thank Alex for your driving force and your vision. And look where we are a year later. I see hope.
Well, I appreciate that, but you know, it takes a team effort, and it's also our great staff, Jennifer from Getting Communications out there, Roz with the library, and just all of you. We're a community, you know, we're working. We can't do anything without you as our business community. You guys are the fabric of our community. It's where people go to get nourishment. It's where our kids go to work. And so, you know, you guys are the lifeblood of this community, and our city just really, truly wants to support you guys and your guys' success, because your success is our community's success and the economic vitality and future of the city. So thank you all so much for everything that you guys do day in and day out. So thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you for attending.
Thank you, guys.